Who would ever imagine that silence could become a strategic advantage? In March 2024, over the cold waters of the Baltic Sea, a Swedish Air Force Gripen E crossed the sound barrier. But something was missing. There was no thunderous sonic boom, no fireball bursting from the exhaust, no dramatic spectacle, just speed and silence. For casual observers, it might have looked like an ordinary test flight, but for military analysts, this moment signaled something much bigger. The Gripen E had achieved sustained supersonic flight without engaging afterburners, a capability known as Supercruise. This matters more than it sounds. Afterburners are brutally inefficient. They guzzle fuel, create massive heat signatures, and light up infrared sensors like a flare in the dark. Supercruise avoids all of that. It allows fighters to stay fast, stay hidden, and stay airborne longer. For years, global air power discussions focused on stealth coatings, sensor fusion, and data networking. But quietly, another factor has begun to dominate defense planning: cost per hour in the air. Because an aircraft that can't afford to fly regularly isn't a weapon. It's a museum piece. The F-35 Lightning II remains a technological marvel, but its operating costs have become impossible to ignore. Reports estimate the F-35A burns around 5,600 liters of fuel per flight hour, forcing many air forces to reduce training just to stay within budget. Meanwhile, the Gripen E is approaching the problem from a completely different angle. Less spectacle, more sustainability. And at the center of this approach is one carefully chosen engine. When Sweden began developing the next generation of the Gripen program in the late 2000s, it faced a defining decision. Which engine would power its future air force? The obvious choices were European heavyweights or next generation US designs. Instead, Sweden went back to a proven partner, General Electric. The foundation was the F414 engine, itself an evolution of the legendary F404 series that powered the F/A-18 Hornet for decades. Millions of flight hours, minimal catastrophic failures, a reputation built on reliability, not hype. But Sweden wasn't interested in copying it. Volvo Aero, now part of GKN Aerospace, reworked the engine with a distinctly Swedish philosophy: efficiency over excess, reliability over raw power. The result became the F414G. On paper, its thrust numbers don't impress headline writers. At roughly 98 kilonewtons, it looks modest compared to the enormous F-35's F135 engine. But numbers alone don't tell the full story. The Gripen E is dramatically lighter, roughly 8 tons empty, meaning the aircraft achieves a highly competitive thrust-to-weight ratio without needing an oversized engine. Independent estimates suggest the Gripen E consumes nearly half the fuel of an F-35 per flight hour. Saab doesn't publish exact figures, but analysts consistently place it in the 2,500 to 3,000 liter range. Fuel efficiency isn't just about saving money. It affects range, loiter time, mission flexibility, and long-term sustainability. And this is where the conversation starts to shift. Buying a fighter jet is only the beginning. The real expense comes later, in maintenance, spare parts, software support, specialized equipment, and infrastructure. This is where many advanced programs struggle. Between 2018 and 23, projected lifetime sustainment costs for the F-35. Fleet exploded from 1.1 trillion to 158 trillion, a staggering 44% increase in just 5 years. To put that into perspective, that figure exceeds the entire GDP of some European nations. The consequences are already visible. Air forces are cutting flight hours. Training schedules are being reduced. Operational readiness is being carefully rationed. Even wealthy nations are feeling the pressure. Australia has publicly raised concerns about cost overruns. Canada has openly questioned long-term affordability. The question has shifted from, is the F-35 effective, to something far more uncomfortable. Can we afford to keep it flying at scale? The Gripen E was designed to avoid this trap entirely. Its philosophy dates back to Sweden's Cold War doctrine: expect air bases to be destroyed, disperse forces, and survive. That mindset shaped everything, from engine access to maintenance philosophy. The F414G supports long intervals between major overhauls. The aircraft itself is modular, allowing rapid repairs with minimal equipment. A 4-person crew can swap the engine in under an hour, on a road. In winter conditions, without specialized hangars, this isn't futuristic theory. It's operational reality. Brazil put the Gripen E to the ultimate test. High temperatures, extreme humidity, continuous sorties, hot refueling, minimal downtime. In 2023 and 2024, Gripen E aircraft flew repeated missions in the Amazon region under punishing environmental conditions, heat above 35 Tika and humidity nearing 85%. Most fighters struggle in such environments. The Gripen didn't. No overheating, no unexpected maintenance issues, no performance degradation. Brazil remains on track for full operational capability by 2025, so on schedule and within budget. That success explains why other nations are following closely. Thailand expanded its Gripen fleet. The Czech Republic is negotiating upgrades. These are not poor countries. They are practical ones. They need aircraft that can fly every day, not just look impressive on paper. The F-35 remains unmatched in stealth. Sensors and electronic warfare. For deep penetration missions, it has no equal. But the Gripen E proves a different truth. Air power isn't just about dominance. It's about endurance. The F-414G doesn't threaten the F-35's role. It simply offers an alternative, one built on sustainability, realism, and long-term viability. As defense budgets tighten and operating costs rise, nations face a defining choice. Not which fighter is the most advanced, but which one they can afford to keep in the air for decades. And that debate is only just beginning.